Welcome to our homecoming Swampcast. We are here, Pat Dooley, Robbie, Andreu, the Gainesville Sun, and looking forward to a festive weekend. Gator Growl, the parade. I know you'll be at the parade, Robbie.
No, I don't think I'll make it. I'd like to, but Madeline's too young, so I'm going to have to wait till next year, maybe.
That sounds like maybe the Gator motto right now. Wait till next year. It's
kind of gotten to that, hasn't it?
It really has after last week. I mean, they're not out of it yet, but they've got to count on a lot of things happening. They've got to count on a couple losses.
And there are some holes that you really worry about on defense. So it's I don't know. It just would be a real reach, it seems like.
And they're going to get there. I agree. The defense is not playing well at all. And again, they've got to win these last two games to have any chance. And right now, you don't look at them and say, oh, yep, no problem. Vanderbilt comes in here, Robbie, with a good defense. Urban Meyer talked about how they've upgraded the talent. I was talking to Bobby Johnson about it yesterday. They've recruited safeties and made them linebackers, outside linebackers. They've recruited linebackers and made them defensive ends, trying to catch up with the speed of the rest of the conference.
Yeah, it sounds like the Jimmy Johnson way. Isn't that what he did at Miami? He did that, and they were fast, and nobody could do anything on them. But it's a solid defense from top to bottom. They lead the league in sacks, second interceptions. So this is the same defense that shut Spur out as far as touchdowns. So that's saying a lot, even though his offense is struggling. But to do that at home in Columbia is a pretty good thing.
Look what they did in Athens or against Georgia when Florida, of course, gave a 42 to Georgia. So
and if Vanderbilt doesn't fumble there, they probably win that game.
They win that game. So it's going to be a battle for the Gators, and especially when you look not only on the defensive side of the ball where they've taken Michael Pouncey and put him in there, a la Mo Mitchell, I guess. But on the offensive side of the ball, where you still aren't sure about Tebow's shoulder. Okay, it's gotten better, but does that mean you go ahead and run him and take a chance on hurting it again? Yeah,
and then, there are bigger games ahead too. But, I don't know what they're going to do there. And it definitely affected the play calling against Georgia. I mean, I don't think it affected – I think Tebow could have run, and I think he wanted to. But I think he was told to stay in the pocket and throw the ball, and the results weren't good. 6 sacks and, a lot of missed opportunities out there.
And the running tailback situation's a mess right now. Yeah. It's Brandon James, but you don't know how much he's going to carry the ball. Are they going to totally file Keyston Moore, or are they going to bring him back in there and let him try to get back into it? Or are they going to give the ball to Faison, to Harvin?
They're back where they've been since Meyer got here. It's tailback by committee. It's running game by committee. That hasn't changed. No matter who they put in there, it doesn't last long as a starter. No. And it ends up being Percy Harvin, Jared Faison, and a couple of tailbacks, and somehow they rush for 130, 40 yards a game, and that's okay. But you still wonder where that dominant tailback is. He's in high school somewhere.
Well, and that's the thing. I keep getting that question, Robbie, but let's not forget, Mon Williams out for with an injury. Bo Williams, who they thought could be a factor this year, out with an injury.
And then the transfer, Emmanuel Moody
transfer. So, and we, again, don't know how good those guys are going to be when they do come back, but they've got tailbacks. They just had some bad luck at that position. But there's no question Florida needs to get it going. To be gone for a month is never easy. It'll have been 35 days since they last played the Swamp. It'll be interesting to see that crowd, too. This is a post-homecoming Gator Growl crowd, 12:30 in the morning, coming off a loss to Georgia, the first loss to a rival in the Meyer era, and 3 of the last 4 games losses. I'm curious to see if they energize them or if they're flat.
I'm thinking letdown game, Pat, for the crowd. I think the Swamp is going to be pretty – I think people are expecting bad things to happen when the defense is on the field, and they're kind of worried about that. And, they're coming to the game worried about it more than they are fired up, I think.
Well, you heard that, Gator fans, so you get out and make a lot of noise and prove Robbie wrong. But I tend to agree with you. I think they're going to be kind of in a wait-and-see mode. Yeah. Let's see what happens here.
If something good happens early, maybe they get into it. But right now, I think people are waiting for bad things to happen. It's kind of – I haven't seen Florida football in this state in a while.
Yeah, and again, we knew it was going to be a transitional year, and it's a little bit more of a struggle than we thought. But what cracks me up is I hear so many people say, boy, the defensive coaches is terrible. They don't know what they're doing. It's the same guys who coached your defense last year. Don't forget that.
And you get on the internet and you see where the defensive coaches don't know what they're doing. Dan Mullen can't call a game, and Urban Meyer should be fired. Yeah. They won a national championship 9 months ago, was it, Pat? Was that 9 months ago?
I believe so. I think, according to a lot of these people, I think they went 7-5 last year because to hear I actually had a conversation with a guy who said, I don't think Meyer's the right guy for Florida.
Yeah, I've even heard people say, is he even that much better than Zook? Which at that point, you end the conversation. Don't you?
Yeah, you pretty much have to, but that's where it is. And that's, Gator fans externalize more than any others. Yeah. I mean, they suffer losses, they suffer wins, so that's the way it's going to be.
But nobody suffers a loss like Tim Tebow, Pat. That poor kid.
I think Georgia screwed up, though. I think they made him mad. I think they're in for it next year, but we'll see. That's a long way off. That's going to do it for our Swampcast here for homecoming weekend. We'll
How
be
about
back.
a prediction, Pat, though, before we go on?
Well, I'm picking Florida close.
You
I
are?
think it's
Yeah.
going to come down in the fourth quarter.
I am picking Florida 28-24 in the paper, but it's kind of a shaky pick. If I had to do it over, I might pull the trigger for Vandy.
I had the same problem with Alabama LSU. It's like I picked LSU, but I have no idea really. And then with college football this year, the way it is, I was 3-7 in my picks last week. That's how hard it is to figure out.
You take losses badly too.
I did. I took that one really badly. But you know what I always say, Robbie? Serenity now.
Serenity
now. That's what you got to stick with.
Yeah.
That's going to do it. We'll be back after the game and tell you what happened. Florida versus Vanderbilt in the Swamp. Until then, Robbie, Andrew, Pat, Dooley saying so long.